Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Take Charge. I'm your host, Jeff Shepard, and we're brought to you here by powerofpurposeradio.com. It is my pleasure to be speaking with you tonight, and our topic is awakening your inner power. Now, that's a very, very strong and broad title. And what I really want to do today is focus on how you can start to develop your purpose and get in line with your inner power. Now, before we begin, I want you to just understand an absolute truth. And if you don't realize this yet, you may be behind the ball. But I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. We are all the present result of subconscious patterns that have created an attraction in our lives for the things that we do want and the things that we don't want. So, in other words, our decisions, not conditions, make our reality. Now, if you understand that, then you must also understand that if we can choose our decisions and we can condition our thoughts, then we can also condition our reality. And that's what I want to talk with you about later on in the show. So now we're here talking about inner power. We understand at this point that we are a result of our subconscious patterns. And these patterns are all around us, even in nature. Look at the seasons. There's fall, winter, spring, summer. Right? The orbits of the planets, right? The gravitational pull from the sun around our solar system. Even the birth of a child has to go through certain trimesters and different stages and patterns before life is brought to fruition. So these patterns are all around us, and to deny that these patterns don't have a direct result in our everyday lives, it would be a little naive. So I want you to understand that these patterns play an essential role to the conditions that you're creating in your life. Now, let's talk about your inner power. Now, your inner power is the ability to alter or transform your attraction so that you're starting to bring in more things in your life that you want as opposed to things that you don't. Let's take an example here. You are starting a new job and you don't want to have the fear of rejection, or you don't want to have people feel a certain way about you. So what do? You do not go to that coworker dinner. You don't go to happy hour. You don't go to the break room. You kind of stay to yourself. And while all in all, you're trying to avoid certain realities, you're really drawing that exact reality towards you. So whether you understand this power or not, it's working. Whether you're consciously controlling this or not, it's working. So how do we start to develop or strengthen or awaken our inner power? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to understand your inner power. And I say your inner power because your inner power is not the same as my inner power. And my inner power is not the same as my wife's inner power or my friends. We all have a distinct purpose and a distinct gift and a distinct inner power. But the inner power is not given. It's not something that just pops in us one day. It's something that you have to develop. It's something that you have to have faith in and nurture. It's something that you have to visualize before it comes into fruition. Did you ever know that everything in this world started from a thought first? I mean, even the camera that's looking at me right now, someone had to think about that camera before it became a reality. Right? The outfit I had on. I had to think about the outfit in my mind first before I actually put it on. So our thoughts actually are the beginning of reality. If we can learn to control our thoughts and to really focus on what we really want in life, we can actually, again, control the attraction that is around us. So understanding your inner power. And the great thing about this is all you really need to do to understand your inner power is decide. We all have great gifts, and it doesn't have to be, it's not a destiny that was predetermined ever since you were at birth. It's a decision. Decide, what is your purpose going to be? What are you going to leave? What mark are you going to leave on this earth? What is your legacy going to be? And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your family. Do it for your kids. Make sure that you're leaving a mark, because if you don't, there's a saying that the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because so many people have died with their music, their dreams still in them. Don't be that person. Don't be the person who lives a life of regret, who always fears what can happen as opposed to thinking about what can. So make a decision. What is your purpose going to be? And that's all you need to do. Don't get caught up in the how, or how long it's going to take, or the why. That's not up to you. You can't control that, but you can control what you decide. Now, after you've made that decision, you want to again focus on the things that you can do, not what you can't do. Don't focus on how am I going to pay for it? How long is it going to take? How am I going to fit this into my schedule? What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Don't get caught up in what you can't control. Focus on what you can do, and do those things. There's a saying. The chicken and the pig. They say that the chicken actually helped your breakfast, but the pig was committed to your breakfast, right? So the chicken definitely gave you the eggs, they helped, but that pig, it gave its life, right? So it's the same thing you want to do with your dream. You want to commit to your purpose. Commit to finding and fine-tuning your inner power. Day in and day out. Continue to commit on your thoughts. Continue to commit to where you want your purpose to go. Do the little things necessary. Write a list out. Track it. Go back. Check. Search. Analyze. Regroup. Do all of the necessary things that you need to do to make sure that you're going to progress. Because you know what they say about happiness, right? Happiness is just the steady progression to a worthy ideal or goal. Now I want you to ask yourself, what's the last thing you can remember just focusing on and progressing towards? No, I'm serious. I want you to think about this. What is the last thing that you can really think about? Wow, I set out to do this and I accomplished it. And if you can think of one, and I'm sure a lot of people probably can't even remember the last time, but if you're one of those few, how good did it feel when you got to that goal, when you got to the end of that journey? Matter of fact, how good did it feel as you were going through that journey, knowing that you were getting closer towards that goal? What if you could have that feeling every day of your life? That's the power of awakening your inner power. Giving your soul, yourself, something to look forward to, something to develop, something to challenge itself. Because the purpose of life is to find purpose. That's it. I want to say that again. The purpose of life is to find purpose. Find your purpose. Now, once you commit to it, and I want to be very serious here, you want to discipline your disappointments. There are going to be disappointments. That's something you can't control. Things are going to happen. And just as sure as you have all of these positive forces helping you achieve and attract your goal, best believe you're going to have the negative forces trying to take you away from that goal. Discipline your disappointments. It's going to happen. You can't control it. But the one thing you can control is how you deal with those things. When I've got a son and a daughter, and they're brother and sister, so they're always fighting and going against each other. And when they were younger, it really used to get to me. In fact, they would start yelling, then I would start yelling, and the next thing you know, we're all yelling and no one's happy. Now, what I tell them to do is, because again, I can't control their reaction, I can control mine. So when they actually start to get antsy and to get upset with each other, I say, you know what? Daddy does not want to hear all of the negativity. Now, when you want to be positive, I'm all ears. But for right now, you guys need to go out and work that out on your own. If you need my help, I'll be more than happy to help you. But you need to work that out, and I don't want to hear negativity. Do you understand how powerful that is? That I could just say that and then go right back into what I was doing before, or going right back into a conversation, going right back and helping a client. Whereas though that would consume me and take charge and take control for minutes, maybe even hours, right? Because once you lose focus, you have to regain it. Very powerful stuff. So again, discipline your disappointments. As you're going through this, make sure that you evaluate your progress. Are you moving towards your goal? And if you aren't, what's preventing you from getting to that goal? Be honest with yourself. Are you doing the things necessary to get to your goal? So make sure that you're always kind of evaluating where you are and making those adjustments. If you're not doing those things, then guess what? You're going to have to make an adjustment, and you're going to have to start from square one. You have to start to build up the momentum. Now, once you start to build up the momentum and change those patterns, the attraction has no choice but to give you what you put in. If you put in a bunch of hard work and a bunch of positivity, and you're focusing on the things that you want in life as opposed to subconsciously focusing on what you don't want, the attraction will have no forward or no it has to come back to you. Not exactly when you want, maybe not even how you want, but it will come back. It's the law. It's the law of your inner power. What you put in, you will get out. Period. Just like if I plant an oak seed in the earth, right? I don't have to do much thinking. I'm going to get an oak tree once it starts to materialize and to develop into what its purpose was. Now, see, here's the great thing. Unlike nature, see, we're not bound to a certain law. We have the ability to manipulate and transform our reality. So think about our brain like the earth, right? And what we plant in it is exactly what we're going to get out. And our subconscious mind doesn't care whether we plant good or bad things. It's going to give us exactly what we plant. So think about this. If I went and planted a poison ivy seed in the earth, and I nurtured it, and I gave it water, and I gave it all the sunlight, best believe the earth will give me plentiful or plenty of poison ivy, right? It'll give it to me in abundance, right? And if I plant a daisy or an apple seed, and I nurture it and I take care of it and I give it sunlight, best believe the earth is going to give me the daisy or the apple tree, right? So it doesn't matter what we plant. The earth is going to give you an abundance. See, not just I plant one seed, it's going to give me an abundance of seeds, right? So it's the same thing in our mind. Whatever we plant, we're going to get back. Now, here is the sad truth. Most of us don't even consciously think about what we plant in our minds. We are consistently allowing outer circumstances, things out of our control, to control our subconscious and our conscious way of thinking. You know, the minute you care about what someone else thinks about you, you are giving up control. You know, the minute you get mad at traffic because you got up late, you're losing control, right? So think about this. Make sure you focus on the things that you can control. And the only thing you can control are your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. Now, if you can think of all of those things, you have no choice but to live a very happy and prosperous life. As I leave here tonight, I just want to extend one other courtesy, because I know when I was looking at stuff and I was trying to develop myself, and I was looking for these answers, I didn't, I saw a lot of hype, right? I saw a lot of people, saying one thing, but really not offering education, or really not offering me a way to help develop myself. I didn't want to develop in the way they wanted. They were already in development. I wanted to develop me. And that's one of the gifts, or that's what I have created. That is my calling, to help people develop themselves and find purpose in themselves, and take their gifts and build upon those. So if you're sitting on the other side of this camera and you know that you want change, you're ready for change, right? It doesn't matter if it's a job, or your finances, or relationship, or maybe you don't even know what the change is. You're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're sick and tired of always saying the same old, same old. Nothing changes. If that's you, I urge you, email me at takechargeconsulting@gmail.com. Once again, that's takechargeconsulting@gmail.com. You can like me on Facebook under Jeffrey Shepherd. My goal is to help you, and I hope that this video has been as informational to you as it's been a pleasure to me to actually give this information out to you. Please continue to look for Take Charge posts. We're going to keep this coming. We're going to make sure that we're changing the world one life at a time. And before I leave, I just want to say one thing. Make sure that you're taking charge of your future, taking charge of your purpose, taking charge of your destiny.